Hello, Values Coaches. Today I have another very important message about managing fear and worry and anxiety effectively. But first I have a fun announcement. For years I have had people asking me, when are you going to have an audiobook edition of the Florence Prescription? And I'm happy to tell you that we now have an audiobook. And there's a link in the message that this video is a part of. We actually had Florence herself become part of it, so please check it out. Now, last week I talked about anxiety and fear and worry and the difference between those three different emotional states. I described how having a state of high anxiety warps your thinking. It distorts your memory. It perverts your perception of what your current reality is. And it distorts your future vision, making it harder to see that perfect outcome that you'd like to see. I talked about how fear creates bad decisions. Fear can actually make you stupid, can cause you to act in ways that are not in your best interest. And I suggested that if you give fear a name, it becomes just a problem, and it's easier to solve a problem than it is to conquer fear. And today I want to talk a little bit more about fear and about managing your fear effectively, keeping it in the proper time zone. See, here's the thing. When your fears are of the future, and those are typically the big questions, what if the economy crashes? What if I lose my job? What if I get sick? How am I going to manage those things? That's the time when you need to close the door on tomorrow and focus on what's right in front of you right now. If you're worried about the economy, how can you spend less, save more? How can you increase your income? If you're worried about losing a job, get that What Color's Your Parachute book. Start doing networking. Now, if you're worried about your health, get obsessive about washing your hands, wearing a face mask. Keep focused on what's right in front of you today and close the door on those indefinite anxieties of the future. On the other hand, when your fears are of today, the rent is past due. You just got a layoff notice. That cough sure doesn't sound quite right. That's when you need to keep a vision on that future, that expect a miracle. This is the best thing that ever could have happened outcome. Because it's really hard to do that when you're in the middle of it. But if you lose sight of that vision, you begin to lose hope and optimism, and you've got to keep those things alive. Now, of course, that's an oversimplification because problems always are of the present and of the future. So how do you deal with something that's today and a future worry? Toggle your attention. Keep your attention. Don't let it wander to both places at once. Keep your head down. Keep focused on working on that problem you got right now. I got to get another job. I've got to figure out how to pay the rent this month. And close the door on the future. But every now and then, take a deep breath, look up and say, somewhere over that rainbow, I got a much better job, or the business is really taken off, or my health has come back, or I've met that perfect soulmate, or whatever it is. Then gently close the door on the future and get back to work on the problem that's right in front of you. Don't allow both time zones to dump on you at the same time. Keep your focus on what you can do something about. Keep your focus on what you want to dream about, but don't try to do both at once. My favorite 4 words: never fear, never quit. Actually 7 words: never fear, never quit, and expect a miracle. I'll talk about those 7 words in our next video. I'll see you next week.